You may not realize it, but your household staff are helping raise your children, not by choice, but by proxy. And if your team isn't clear on their role, your child may unintentionally exploit those gaps, putting everyone at risk. This episode isn't about parenting style, and it's certainly not about judging yours. It's about communication, specifically what you, as the parent, must share with your staff to ensure that your children grow up with the values, boundaries, and consistency that you want them to. Stay with me, and I'll show you exactly what to say to your household team to ensure that your parenting values are upheld, even when you're not in the room. If you have private staff and your children interact with them daily, this episode is one that you don't want to miss. Welcome to Dear Billionaire. This is the place for homeowners with full-time staff to master the nuances of managing a private estate. If you're looking to run your home with greater efficiency, discretion, and ease, you're in the right place. I'm Kelly Fore Dixon, and I share strategies to help you achieve billionaire-level success in managing your staff, your residents, and your complex life. If that sounds like you're in the right place, give me a thumbs up and turn on notifications so you don't miss a tip. So let's start with the biggest misconception, that your housekeeping staff is there to manage your home, and your nanny is there to manage your children's schedule, and neither should ever step into the role of helping you raise your child. The truth, your staff and your children see everything. And without meaning to, your staff can become a daily influence on your child's emotional development, responsibility, values, and entitlement, or humility. Whether it's emotional support, discipline, boundaries, or accountability, your nanny and your staff are either reinforcing your parental values or they're silently enabling behaviors that contradict them. And without clear direction from you, the results can be confusing for everyone on board, your children, your staff, and ultimately your entire family culture. Let's talk about setting your team up for success so that when your children grow up with consistency, clarity, and character, no matter who's in the room. This isn't about parenting style. It's about intentionally defining how you want your children to be raised, sharing that vision with your team, and being clear about everyone's role in supporting that vision. So here's what typically gets in the way. Some parents haven't clearly articulated their parenting style, or they struggle to maintain boundaries with consequences, especially when staff are involved. When you add staff to the mix, the dynamics become very complex, and children get mixed signals, staff get overwhelmed, and those boundaries get blurred. So let's look at a real-world example of how this plays out. The Martins, which is our favorite fictitious family here, are a dual-career couple with 2 children, a full-time nanny, a housekeeper, and a household manager. Cindy, the housekeeper, recently discovered food wrappers, soda cans, and dirty laundry stuffed underneath the beds, likely the breeding ground for the moths that are destroying several of Mr. Martin's wool suits in the adjacent closet. The children are supposed to clean their rooms and make their beds, and from the doorway, it looks like they've done so. But Cindy, the housekeeper, knows better, but she hesitates to say anything. She once got reprimanded for overstepping her boundaries when she brought up a similar concern, and she just doesn't want to risk it this time. Nicole, the nanny, on the other hand, carefully manages the children's schedule, meals, and routine. But lately, the 14-year-old Brett has been slipping. He missed major homework assignment deadline and is distracted by his new girlfriend and has started lying about his attendance in study hall. Now he's pressuring Nicole to do his homework for him, warning that he's going to tell his parents that she didn't manage his time very well. Nicole refuses, but she's rattled. She loves her job. She's worked very hard for this family to earn their trust, and she's afraid Brett is going to ruin her reputation, and she's conflicted. Amy, the house manager, sees this all unraveling. She's juggling a contractor to handle the moth infestation and trying to support Cindy and Nicole and absorbing the emotional fallout herself. She's burning out, torn between protecting the staff, staying loyal to the family, and keeping the children's trust, all while managing this household. The staff are anxious, the child's being manipulative, the boundaries are blurred, and emotional weight of unclear expectations is taking its toll on everyone. So if your child grows up surrounded by people who meet every need without challenge, correction, or gratitude, they'll likely grow into adults who lack empathy, accountability, and resilience. You're not just raising entitled children, you may be creating a household culture where manipulation is rewarded and staff feel powerless to uphold boundaries. Your staff notice what you may miss, which is the back door was left open overnight, hidden food or other contraband, young adults making out in the bedroom, signs of stress, lying, or withdrawal, missed deadlines, skipped chores, or more dangerous behavior, or even illegal ones. But unless you've communicated what they're responsible for noticing, what's reportable, and how you'll support them when they speak up, they may say nothing. And the silence creates risk for everyone, emotionally, legally, and reputationally. So how do you prevent your children from becoming entitled and your staff from feeling helpless? Here are 3 steps that I recommend to support your staff. Spell it out for them. Where their authority ends, where your values begin, what they're empowered to do, when it's their turn to step in, what behaviors are expected of your children and of your staff, and what to address in real time versus to report maybe at the end of the week. The second suggestion is communicate these expectations in writing. Put it in a house manual, a staff onboarding procedure, or a memorandum of understanding. Let your team know, are they allowed to correct disrespectful behavior in the moment? Should they reinforce consequences or simply report them? What's the protocol if they suspect dishonesty or emotional distress? Number 3, define what happens when the rules are broken and address the gray areas head on. The comments like, don't tell my parents, if you say something, I'll get you fired, or my mom said it was fine. If your staff doesn't know how to handle these moments, they'll often freeze or comply, creating emotional confusion and reinforcing manipulation. This isn't just a discipline issue, it's a values issue, and it's completely preventable with clear, consistent communication. Boundaries aren't just for children, they're a gift to everyone in your home. Remember, your staff aren't just employees, they help you shape the household culture, and in many ways, they help raise your children, whether actively or just by example. So take time to decide what matters, write it down, talk it through with your staff, and invite your team members to understand your intentions. Also, let them know that it's safe to be honest, that they are expected to reinforce the rules, that they are valued as partners, not just as support staff or hands off, none of your business. Either way, they'll know your preferences, because a home with staff should be a place of clarity, respect, and mutual purpose, not one of silent confusion or resentment. Don't wait for the conflict to surface. Download our free checklist called How to Align Your Household Staff with Your Parenting Values. Use this as your first step towards raising grounded kids while protecting your team and your peace of mind. That's what I have for you this week. Next week, I'll walk you through the critical do's and don'ts of traveling with your household staff, from accommodations and per diems to etiquette, apparel, and boundaries on the road. Until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.